I want to talk about the best open world games this year. Because when I first thought of this segment, or like a few of us were brainstorming, we thought there were more than there actually were. I feel like there's always at least like 10 open world games every year, but there actually weren't a ton this year. And I think like between Watch Dogs 2 releasing very recently and Final Fantasy 15 just releasing today, it's kind of a good time to touch on it. I want to talk about our favorites. What do we think the best was? I think we all kind of picked one out to mainly talk about, but I'll touch on all of them. Pete Brown.
Yeah.
Which one are you thinking of?
The best.
I mean, sorry, just to clarify, I mean in like a traditional sandbox open world as opposed to like Dark Souls 3, which you have to like fast travel at certain points and there's like certain gates that you can't get through for a while and it's very segmented. I'm talking like sandbox games. Like,
yeah, it's very difficult for me to choose. For me, it comes down to No Man's Sky, Watch Dogs 2, or Final Fantasy 15. All for very different reasons, which is why it's so hard to say the best. I will say my favorite right now, having played Watch Dogs 2 and Final Fantasy 15 recently, between those two is Final Fantasy 15. Both games offer a lot of discovery. Like if you spend your time really digging around, you'll find things that are really surprising and entertaining in some cases. But really, for me, I think it's 15. Just because of the scale of progression. Like I'm 65 hours in and I can still see another 10 or 15 hours worth of things that I want to find and explore. And unlike something like No Man's Sky, I know what I'm working towards in 15. I love No Man's Sky for its spectacle and a few other reasons. But at the end of the day, after I met Atlas, I was kind of like, well, I've got better things to do with my time.
We will get into Final Fantasy 15 way more later in this show today. But I do think it's interesting because I make it known that I've never played a Final Fantasy game before, and I just bought this last night. I'm going to be playing tonight. It's weird that the allure of a Final Fantasy is that it's a pure open world now, as opposed to like the characters and the storyline, which you said were serviceable. And again, not to critique this too much until we get into the Ask the Reviewer section later, but it is odd that I'm getting into a Final Fantasy because of its like, gorgeous, sprawling, pure open world sandbox.
Yeah. I mean, but that's, that is sort of the flavor of the month, right? Or the generation, as it were. I mean, we saw Metal Gear Solid go open world. Final Fantasy is following. And, a lot of games are sort of shifting how they handle their traditions and putting it in a modern package. So I think I can relate to how that is interesting, even as a Final Fantasy fan. That has me stoked. So I can see for someone who has never played the series before how that would tip them over into buying the game, I guess.
Yeah, just seeing it from a distance, it looks gorgeous, which isn't always like the biggest selling point, obviously, but it does seem like there's enough to like keep you pulling you from region to region. And these like late game dungeons and missions and like bosses and legendary weapons sound like they'd be worth exploring for.
Of the three that you mentioned, Peter, do you think if you were to pick one to be the most repetitive, because that's like one of my biggest burnouts is like, I've been kind of doing this.
It's No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Watch Dogs 2 is set in a city, San Francisco, that has a lot of natural variety, and that game represents it very well. You have a lot of different activities that you can involve yourself in. And 15 is kind of the same way. Really combat and discovery are the two main things. But yeah, for No Man's Sky, it was so repetitive to have to constantly, grind for resources and ultimately to take the next step time and time again and just repeat that cycle and keep it going. Like that was super repetitive for me.
Yeah, that was me last night till very, very late. Yeah. Just like, wait. And that I feel like that can get deceiving too with some like No Man's Sky where you still have those cool like spectacle moments like occasionally, like when you do find that cool planet or like that like enjoyable and like tasteful animal to look at, and that's some just like hideous freak of nature that you're just like, come on, like just this thing,
something straight out of like the early drawing boards of The Last Guardian that they thought you might be like wandering around that world with, as opposed to Trico now.
I think I showed you guys that one animal.
I know what you're talking about.
The one animal that I showed you guys that's like got these wings and it's this huge. Like, what is that? Like, come on.
I can't wait for the GIF of that.
No, that's just me. We got a preview monitor here and it's just me. For me, I suppose Division was one of my picks simply just for that tone and that aesthetic of that city. Was super like I would say original, right? Like you think about like a GTA or like Watch Dogs, like there's such a lightheartedness where it's just those moment to moments of just like some crazy event happening. But this game, Division, was like, that's messed up. This one makes me think when I see someone, innocent civilian, just getting like beat the hell up. If I can't save them in time, they die. Like there's a guilt, and there's just like it's scary. It's a scary game, and that was like very different for like of the lineup. I feel like for this.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a few times in the lobby between like being like PTR servers and just the actually recent release, the survival mode now. I think I've said this a lot, but this is one game I only put 2 hours into back in March when it released, and I've been wanting to play it ever since because from what I played, it was the world that was drawing me in. And again, we've talked about this before. This is just deja vu, but now that survival mode's out, a lot of people are saying, again, this world makes more sense now as an open world because it's very risk reward. Do I want to spend a lot of time here even though the blizzard's going to eventually freeze me to death if I don't get to a fuel drum? I need food. I need water. I'm not going to be able to aim and kill these harder enemies if I'm too thirsty. I need better gear. Do I want to venture off the beaten path even though I know this way is safe?
Yeah.
I keep saying it, but once I finish all the other games, like the current games, I want to get back to the Division. That was like one of mine. Like, I don't know that it's the best, and I don't know that it's my favorite because I've only put 2 hours into it, but it's the most alluring to me in terms of its aesthetic and its overall world design.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know when you could date it back for open world games, but for me, I remember Fallout 4 having that impact with like the survival mode. Like the game felt natural and at its core, and I think Far Cry Primal did that. I never got into that version, but Division seems like a perfect place to have that. Like why else is there? I guess you have perks associated with like water bottles and soda cans and Division, but that's nice to like know that like that's actually something that you are looking for like heavily. They're not just like goodies to sprinkle in.
Yeah, you did just talk about Far Cry Primal, and that's actually one that I'm not surprised we haven't talked about a lot. It's just like it's the Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, 2 to some extent formula implanted on the Stone Age. But when I reviewed it and when I played it, I actually really liked that game. I was really impressed that Ubisoft didn't kind of eventually just give you like this machine gun rock thrower or this like this electric spear or anything. It stayed pretty grounded aside from like the mystical elements, but it stayed grounded in this world. And you just mentioned that they released that update afterward that added a survival mode. I did play a little bit of it, and I, again, like you said with the Fallout 4 and even with the Division, I think that's the way to play this game. When like in the base game, when night fell and when like the sun went down, that's when a lot of the predators would come out. Fires were good for warding off like wolves and whatnot. But now apparently, there's cold to maintain, which is in the first game or the base game as well. But it just became way more dangerous in survival mode, which is what I liked about the base game. Did you guys even play a lot of Far Cry Primal?
Yeah,
I think you did a little bit.
I played a good amount. And, just like many games, I think, can fall victim to that. You just get too overpowered. And I think survival works so well for open world is giving you that strong incentive to make that weapon, to go to be on the cusp of dying, and I think Far Cry is a perfect example of like making a spear. Like that's like, bow and arrow is the first thing you make. Like that's pretty much survival. Like it fits well there. And, I just realized even No Man's Sky did that with this new update. I haven't tried it yet though, but yeah, it's just interesting. It's just like making incentive and making you feel uncomfortable, I think, is something appealing. And, then to look back 50 hours in, like, dang, I got out of that rut. Like, I don't know, it's more empowering.
Yeah, it is weird because, again, I think the game was pretty forgettable against that Far Cry formula that we've kind of come to know and maybe get sick of. But looking back, it is actually one of my favorite open world experiences this year, although I haven't played Final Fantasy yet. But to continue talking about Ubisoft, which now that I say it out loud, they had most of the games on this list are Ubisoft titles.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, they have different studios all over the world. But Watch Dogs 2, we kind of touched on. Living here in San Francisco, I think, was the main allure of that game before it came out. I did not like the first Watch Dogs. Some of the problems I had with the first Watch Dogs carried over to this one. I played about 4 or 5 hours of Watch Dogs 2. Pete, you reviewed it, but I still felt like it was kind of lifeless. I know it's tough to have enough people in a city in a game to make it feel like it's really vibrant and kind of just like pulsating like I want it to. And I was exploring San Francisco just to see some of the sites, the tourist attractions, see if you could find like our office or my neighborhood, neither of which were in the game. But you reviewed it. What do you think about the world itself as it functions, like as an open world game?
You're 100% correct. Like lifeless is adjective that applies, I think, to a degree, right? Like there are not that many people on the street. There is not that many cars on the road. There's enough to kind of give you those variables to at least consider. But yeah, it doesn't feel like San Francisco in that respect. But the open world, I think, benefited from, again, what I was saying earlier, like the variety that exists within it, the visual variety, the terrain variety, and the terrain being urban and natural. I thought there was a very, very good mix of those two. So in terms of the open world being alive, I don't know that was necessarily the case, but I felt alive in that open world.
Damn. Oh, shit. Yeah, there's some profundity. I like that a lot. Yeah. I don't know. Rob, you live in San Francisco too. Did you? Richard Lee, our cameraman, is trying not to laugh at that sick comment.
No, I should be fired for that.
I'm gonna buy that game now.
Did you play a lot of Watch Dogs 2, Rob?
I didn't. I haven't played any.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just, I think this time around, this year, as they say, has been just an influx of really awesome shooters. Yeah. It's kind of been where my mind, I think, has been at for I feel like I've just been burnt out and exhausted over the last few years of open world games, where it's like, just, even when it came out, like I was playing DayZ, like the first year I ever started GameSpot, and like those games I can't do anymore because they just kill me. Like, oh man, it's 4 a.m. and I haven't seen shit. Like I mean that's your extreme game, but like I'm a little afraid to play Watch Dogs 2 just because I'm afraid of the moment where like I see that really funny. I keep hearing about this gameplay moment where you're walking around and it's like someone freaking out and beating up a car.
Yeah.
But I've heard that from many people. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering when is that going to be the third time or fourth time that I've just kind of experienced that? I had to say, you compare that to like the 5 years for GTA. Like that shows. Like I still tune into that game once in a while and I'm like, oh, I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
And that is where it's just like, I don't know, it's super hard to top that type of world.
I will say the one thing that Watch Dogs 2 offers is a very easy way to get strangers either near or far to like share a piece of themselves with you by stealing that piece from them, right? By reading their text messages or listening in on their phone calls. Yeah. And there are some funny anecdotes in there. Like it's not to the same caliber of what you get in GTA because it's not an organic experience. It is something you have to like trigger, right? And again, it is just something very quick and then it's gone. But I will say that in its defense, there is a lot of character buried within that world. You have to go just a little bit farther to get to it.
And that's where the first one fell short, right? Like you had those text messages or like those bios, right? But they were like 3 words or like 4 words. Like who cares? Like what is that of value? But yeah, when I hear that, that's pretty cool. Like
yeah, we haven't
kind of story.
Sorry, yeah, we haven't been on any crazy dumb tangents yet today. So here's mine. Have you seen the movie Bedazzled? Way back in the day.
Is it a documentary about adding gemstones?
No. It's Brendan Fraser and Jennifer.
It's my 5th favorite movie.
Elizabeth Hurley. Is it really your 5th favorite
movie?
No!
It's number 1, of course.
This is useless and almost a non sequitur. But at the beginning of that movie, I forget how it fits into the themes of the movie, but they do that. They show this like bio of someone hovering above them. I don't even know how it fits into the rest of the movie now that I think out loud, but when I first played the first Watch Dogs, I thought of Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley and Bedazzled. Anyway, the last one I wanted to talk about was DLC. The Witcher 3, Blood and Wine.
Oh, for sure.
We'll bring it up because it's an entirely new area that you explore. It's a new region. It's kind of like this French, like Toussaint. It's like French dialect kind of spoken there. You put some time into this.
And I was on a roll.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, she's talking. Oh, Mary threw Bedazzled up.
Bedazzled.
So here we go.
Yeah. Let's vamp.
Oh,
go ahead, Mike.
Even in San Francisco.
So Watch Dogs 2 and a lot of segues. This is crazy.
Environmental.
Ubisoft, you're ripping off Bedazzled. No, I'm just kidding. Here's for those listening. Mary just threw up the intro that I was talking about. Yeah, this one guy double dips. This person's
right.
ex-hippie.
That is Watch Dogs.
A lot of Watch Dogs 2 there he is. Brendan Fraser's lovesick.
Ex-dog owner.
Walking down Market Street. He's desperate, oblivious, eager to please.
This is blowing my mind.
Holy shit. I kind of, when I first started talking about it, I was like, this is the worst tangent ever. But now I actually, it seems like I had a plan the whole time.
I think you just unearthed the secret to Watch Dogs. Brendan Fraser this whole time.
They didn't have the guts to just completely rip it off, so they've set the first one Chicago. Like, we'll get to San Francisco in the sequel. Anyway.
Doormat?
He's a doormat.
All right.
Bites his toenails.
So Toussaint in The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine is an entirely new like open world segment. It's this like French speaking kind of more stable environment than the base game. The base game's world was kind of, in the middle of a civil war. Rob, Blood and Wine, did you play much of it? Yeah.
I really liked it a lot, and I was like on a roll playing that game, and then we go through a lot of games here, so you have to like put things down, but yeah, and that felt like Witcher 3.5. It just felt like a whole. I think it was probably like the best DLC. I mean, it's one of my favorites. It was like one of the best DLCs I think of the year, just because like there was just so much going on, and that is a living, breathing world for the most part. Just for the amount of quests and characters you are constantly meeting, it's a game where like you can't do it all, and that says a lot. I mean, I think you could say the same for like Fallout as well, but just like the change of tone and heart for Witcher. You had a civil war with like just not genocide, but like tons of casualties in a war, like in the mud, like just dead. And here's this really like chirpy French town, like sun sets and just gorgeous like locales. Like it was a cool way to close out that game.
And CD Projekt Red is, as they've proven time and time again, are really good at telling these open world stories, that these things you just stumble upon, but also these things that tie different regions of the open world together and kind of give you a reason to explore beyond just like new weapons or gear, just actually uncovering these really well-written tangential stories. I didn't get to play much Blood and Wine this year, unfortunately. I played Hearts of Stone last year, which was a really good expansion, but that was more linear. You're going to places within the original base game's world, and now that Blood and Wine is out, I think The Witcher 3 is even more of a high bar for open world games.
And I had a cool time with Hearts of Stone because I actually didn't get a chance to play it when it came out. So what you could do is actually play them both at the same time. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever done this with DLC before. I guess, I can't remember if I have. But anyways, going back and forth between worlds. Like, in Hearthstone, spoiler, you get like a scar from a guy on your face, and he's like, I won't remove it until you do something. So I'm going around like Toussaint with a scar on my face. Like, I don't think people react to it, but like, it was just kind of interesting to be like, man, I should probably get the scar off my face. Like, just multitasking. I don't know. It just felt cool to like go back and forth between like, as you said, like really awesome, well-rounded stories. It was just fun to like have that freedom. Yeah.
I don't remember how you get that scar removed. There's like a laser surgeon in the swamp or something.
What's that? The Man of Glass?
It was a joke, but I forget how you get the scar off your face. Sure. Yeah, that dude, Gontar O'Dim, the guy they
who's
introduced.
A hell of a villain.
Did he come back in Blood and Wine, or is that a spoiler? Or do you even know? There was this really cool like arch character that they introduced in Hearts of Stone that I thought they were laying the groundwork for later stories. I don't know. If anybody in the chat knows, if you played Blood and Wine, let me know if Gontar O'Dim is back. But anyway, those were the major open world games, like most of which were Ubisoft titles, and some of which may have ripped off a 90s movie or two.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, now that I have Final Fantasy 15, I'm going to try to get into that tonight, and I will have played most of these games this year. But anyway, let us know if we missed any that you want us to mention. Let us know what your favorites are and what next movie Ubisoft should rip off.